This is a Harper Guys production.
The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen. If I was informed correctly, the clock is ticking. Is that right, Jimmy?
But good luck arguing that in court. Let me get down to brass tacks.
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the ape?
Jack, let's just cut the crap and get down to brass tacks here.
Are you hating on Neil Diamond?
Holy fuck Neil Diamond.
Our dream of deathmatch is going to come to fruition, and my golden ticket is going to pay off. Hoo-ah. Don't you fucking hoo-ah me, motherfucker.
I want the ability to time travel.
This is stupid. Welcome to the Hopper, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jake. With me, as always, my co-host Adam. Stoked to be back.
That's right. Oh my God, the hiatus is over. 3 weeks seems like forever sometimes.
Tomorrow's the first. Everything goes into effect, right?
Can't wait.
The first steps.
We are not talking about coronavirus one time on this show.
Except for that.
No, there'll be a little bit, but not much. Not much.
Not much at all.
You heard it here first. Not much. Let's get into this fucking PSA.
Let's get through this.
Ready to
get rolling.
Freaking roll. Episode number 69. 69 dudes. Movie?
No.
Okay. Visit us at theharperguys.com. There you can follow and share. Also, visit us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. If you're watching on YouTube right now, subscribe, comment, and if you comment, you might just become part of the
show.
Bam! And also thank you to Ethan Maxwell. I'm calling him Maxwell tonight for the Demilitarized Zone in its entirety at the end of the show. That's right, Robbie C. You asked me where the Licorice song went, and it went right there. So if you're paying attention, Robert, we'll call him Robert. That's where it went. We're playing the whole song in its entirety. And if you bitch and complain enough, we'll bring the Licorice song back.
No, we won't. The Licorice song's gone. Sorry.
Okay. See, even Jake didn't even like that being gone, and now he's all right.
Hey, you put up with things in a relationship sometimes, right?
Oh my goodness.
Is that everything?
Oh. Well, I think we should just go
Fucking start.
Do you want to every once in a while you find out something. And I don't know if you were holding on to this for later, but I think we should do it right now.
Okay.
Jake informed me before we started recording that he found one of our original Hateful Eight.
Yes.
I don't know if you call them members, but one of the Hateful Eight, the original Hateful Eight.
When we first started off, just a little bit of clarity, we had like every show would be 8 downloads. Once in a while we'd hit 7, once in a while we'd hit a 9, but it was like 8 all the time. You know, when we get on and we would check our viewers. You know,
that's
we had
not
going,
a lot.
No, that's
but
not
it was appreciated.
Yeah, but it was a beginning, and we looked and it's like tried to find what we could, but we're like we knew from our live shows that it was pretty much the same guys all the time that were listening, and we didn't know who a few of them were.
We knew who a couple.
Yeah, a couple, but there were some of you out there that we didn't know from our conversations who you were, and a couple of you people we had never met. Well, come to find out that one of our listeners, his name is Chad, he actually works with my wife, and they were talking about the show the other day. Turns out he doesn't miss an episode. He listens to every single one.
This is Chad?
His name is Chad.
All right.
Yeah. So
rock on, Chad.
Rock on, Chad. He listens to every episode. So I wanted to bring him up for a second, though, because he called bullshit on me for something.
All right.
Which I thought was interesting.
It's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Right. So I want to make sure that we're clear on the point that we were making is when we were talking about guns.
So that was last episode.
Yeah.
It was Home Protection 101 with Jake.
Yeah. Just going through what we do and how we do things and stuff. One of the comments I made is that I do not have a loaded gun like 2 steps from the bed. I have a plan and everything's real close, but it's not sitting there loaded. So like a child couldn't walk into my room and fire off that weapon. A child wouldn't be able to get to where the ammunition is.
Now, I'm not going to correct you, but I thought you said that you had it to where you just needed to engage it.
I have them literally lined up to where, yes.
Okay.
But not for that. Now, what I was talking about is I have another one that is under lock and key that is fully loaded to where, yes, one turn of the key, I can be to that, and it's squeeze until you're done, right? The one that you shot with.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do by all counts. I have one loaded, but it's locked and under key. I don't have one that's accessible. It's literally.
So what was the bullshit?
Huh?
That he called?
So he was trying to say, "Oh, Jake said he didn't have a loaded gun in the house," like, because she was asking, he was asking about it. It's like, yes, I do, but it's loaded with one step of security to it, to where it's not just laying on the table for somebody to grab.
Oh, so he knew that you had a loaded gun?
Because we were talking about about loading guns in the house.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, either way though, shout out to Chad, man. Thanks for listening to all the shows.
Yeah, regardless if Jake's wrong or right, we still enjoy anybody that's a member of the Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
We're going to be coming out with T-shirts eventually.
That's right. And you're definitely going to be getting one, Chad.
Yep.
And I'll give you actually one little teeny tiny story about his character. This is just who this guy is.
Chad?
Yeah.
All right.
Chad's awesome. My house is 2 stories, right? Well, the gutters run along the back of the
there's
house.
a lot more than 2 stories around here.
Anyhow, the gutters that run across the back of the house are way the fuck up there. All right.
Oh, is he the guy you got to climb up there?
So like he used to do it with his dad, to where he was like, "Yeah, come on, I'll clean out your gutters." This dude is literally up on like the very like last shingle of the roof, just do. If I was in that situation, I might as well jump off the roof, because I'm going down one way or a fucking another. At one point, he's laying down and like leaning over the side, trying to like work on something. I'm like, "No, dude, no, go back."
You're like,
back up you go.
I'm confident in my abilities, but I don't think I can catch you.
Right. So, he's one of those no fear of heights people.
Good.
And I don't know those people very often, because I think they're few and far between that are genuinely not afraid of heights, and it didn't bother him at all.
I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm very careful at heights.
You have a deep respect for heights.
Yes. So I'm like very, like I said, deliberate, slow moving like a sloth.
Yeah.
I don't want to fall.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
You know our buddy Bob Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob wanted me to mention him on the show. He just got a metal roof put on. Well, he walked out to check it. Said it was like glass. He almost went flying off.
I was
going
to
to
say, you don't want to walk out just to check your metal roof.
Yeah, he had no idea. So he said getting up on there wasn't bad. He said coming down was scary as hell, because he said at any time he felt like he was just going to shoot off the side of his house.
Right on. All right, so we had the Chad moment. Now we're going to have the Bob Joy moment.
Yeah.
Bob Joy, if you're listening right now, when I was, let's see, must have been 7 years old, playing baseball.
Yeah.
And 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds played together. Then the 9 and 10-year-olds played together. And, it was a 2-year thing. And it's my very first year playing. And my grandparents didn't, my parents were always there, but my grandparents didn't come a lot. Mm-hmm. But I could see them shuffling through over there behind Steiner's and Wadsworth.
Yeah.
And Bob Joy was a year older than me. And I was in center field. I could catch the ball and I could throw the ball. And even at 7, that's, not a lot of kids can do that.
You are qualified for short and center at that point.
Exactly. But still, I had never caught a fly. And Bob Joy pokes one out there. Like, and this is even as a 8-year-old, he hit one to center field, like in the air.
Like ripped it.
Yeah. But it was just like The Sandlot. You've seen the movie The Sandlot, right?
Have. Oh, yeah.
Where the kid just puts the glove up. Now, I was watching the ball and I was just like, I didn't have to move. Not a step. Caught the ball. Yeah. That was my very first catch ever, was Bob Joy.
Really?
Yes.
So you were your own hero for a minute.
He
there.
made me a hero. I didn't have to move.
Yeah. Well, special shout out to Bob Joy. As of last weekend, 2 weekends ago, actually now, he is my brother-in-law.
Right on.
So congratulations, Bob and Danette. So happy for you guys.
Congratulations.
Things are going great so far. They've already got the joke about things change when you're married, about asking each other to do things and stuff. So it's cute, but they're fantastic. So congratulations, guys.
So now you were going to do some recording of that. How did that go?
So it went okay. What we ended up doing was I started an Instagram page and I shared it out there to everybody like, hey, Bob and Danette are getting married. We're like, I tagged them in it, so anybody that follows them could see their stuff. And we ended up with a whole bunch of people to where what we did was we took it and we used the tripod. Thank you very much.
No,
and,
it's officially the Harper's tripod.
Yeah. We live streamed it, so people anywhere could watch it. Didn't have to be there. They just got.
Well, that's what I meant when I asked you how it went. How did the live stream go?
The live stream. The only thing that wasn't great about the live stream was the audio, because we couldn't get super duper close with the entire thing. You know, the preacher wanted us to stay back a little bit, so you can see, you can hear the vowels and stuff. Okay, but the audio could have been better. But overall, it was great. It came off really well.
As well as you could probably have expected, live streaming a wedding in our situation.
Yeah, it was great. And I was happy for them that they got married through it and ended up for a really nice day.
Absolutely.
So enough with the happy times and stuff. Let's get down to what we do here and let's get started. I know you got some shit tonight. I definitely got a couple things I need to go fucking postal about.
Holy fuck.
Let's jump into some happen.
Okay.
Let's get down to brass tacks. Oh, by the way, I heard brass tacks in 2 shows this week. Just wanted to bring that up to our fucking
2 shows on TV?
2 different shows on TV. Heard it this week.
You wanna name them?
It was on another episode of Better Call Saul again this season.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, but he uses it again. I was like, oh,
in season 5?
Yep.
Not there yet.
Get there.
Getting there.
Seriously, get there. And then the other one was a TV show on Netflix right now. I recommend it to anybody that likes football. It's called All American. The coach at one point, he has the whole team together. He's like, we got to get down to brass tacks. I'm like, yes, you do.
And why is it so fucking confusing?
Right.
Anyways.
So, who's got syphilis? There's another reminder for you.
We are so far past who's got syphilis.
It's never going away.
And by the way, thank you. In the end, I have to say thank you because we made T-shirts and it's great.
The brass
Part
tacks
of the show.
T-shirts?
Yes.
That's right. Fuck them.
Fucking A.
What do you got to talk about?
All right. By the way, this Common Sense moment brought to you by MOA.
MOA.
Yeah, Morons of America. And not to confuse Morons of America with vanilla, the Breckenridge vanilla porter, but thank you because it is tasty.
Always a delicious vanilla porter.
I got this tonight because, I just wanted something. The Breckenridge is just, if you could define smooth in the dictionary, it is the smoothest porter you will ever drink, more than likely.
It's definitely a very good porter.
You don't have to choke it down. Not that I have to choke any porters down, but there's just no
bite to it.
No, it's just
delicious.
did I even? Sometimes you're like, did I even drink that?
But by the third one, you're like, I certainly did.
I most certainly did. All right, so anyways, I've got a couple pissed off moments that just have fucking been seething and writhing, and I just have to get them out.
Do it.
People. And I'm talking to the handicapped people. And I am deeply apologetic for your handicap. Let me get this clear. I'm not upset with you because you're handicapped. But I am deeply upset that you are so fucking lazy that your right arm doesn't work. You can't take down... You're first of all, let me just start by reading what I had wrote down. Stop driving with your handicap placard hanging on your rearview mirror. It belongs in your fucking glove box. Did you know that?
No.
It is illegal to drive. Now, it is at the officer's discretion whether or not to give you a ticket.
But you have to get it out when you go someplace.
No. Well, what you do is this. You leave it in your glove box. You drive around. You can see real good because there's nothing fucking in your way. You can drive around, and then when you pull into that handicap parking spot, you reach over, you get the glove box open, you put your placard on, and you get into the store.
Right. Then when you come back out, you put it away, then you leave.
You put it away, and then you leave. So, did you know?
No.
For one, it's illegal because it obstructs your view while driving. 2, it makes you a handicapped driver. Because it obstructs your fucking view. Stop doing it. Stop. I mean, you get the best spots anyways.
I mean, how many little trees, though, does it take to make up one of those? I mean, I've seen 20 little trees hanging from a rear view mirror. Like, that's an obstruction. It's seen
illegal.
Student driving things. I mean, is it illegal to hang anything from it or just a handicap placard?
I brought this up at home, and my wife's like, well, those handicap things aren't worse than those fucking school pickup things that hang from your rear view. And she goes, and I see people driving around town with those. So what it is, this is like our kids and where our kids go to school, for the elementary, they had a pickup sign, and it had like your kid's name and like they had like a letter and a number associated with. And you'd pull up, and they would, if they couldn't read the name, they could see the big numbers and letters, and they would say, "Oh, that's Jimmy.
Yeah.
Get him out there." But they're really big. You're supposed to, when you're in the line, you're supposed to slap that thing on, and then put it away, which is what 90% of people do. But there's that 10% that just drool. So that's the first fucking thing. This is all around driving, by the way. Heads up.
Let it go.
Number 2, driving with 0 sense.
Well, that's half the population.
0 common sense. Stop driving when you're with your fucking Corona mask on. When you're the only one in the fucking car, you look stupid, and you are fucking stupid. Why are you driving? Even you told me a story. We went to the store. We put our masks on.
Well, yeah.
He didn't say we drove to the store with our masks on.
Fuck, the first thing we do when we get in the car is take them off.
There's so many idiots out there. Now, okay, this isn't against the law. This is just a fucking wake up. I'm shaking you by the shoulders. You look stupid. Are you going to catch the coronavirus by yourself in the car?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Unless you're driving a big minivan and it says like prisoner, what do I want to say? Not
like,
transport.
Right. Like the sheriff's vehicle when they go pick up trash.
Then you might want to keep it on for a while. It takes a while for the coronavirus to die.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I actually think the masks are a funny thing. Like, have you noticed that, like, it's almost like if you go into a store now and, like, you're a non-masker, people are kind of like,
I'm not getting that. But I do get the, like, everybody's like, you're infected. And that kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not. At least to this point.
Did you have the test?
Yeah.
Did
Every day I go into the shop.
Yeah, but
I plug it up to my forehead and it says 97.6. And I'm like, why the fuck is this thing's broke anyways?
That don't mean that you didn't have it before this whole thing started and you didn't even know it.
Well, I think my son may have. Because he had, about 2 weeks before this all broke out, he had fever and vomiting for over a week.
Yeah.
And every time we took him in, because finally it was like after day 6, I'm like, we had been talking to the doctor. We didn't wait till day 6.
Right.
And then on day 6, I'm like, I have to take him in.
Yeah.
I want the flu him tested for the flu.
Yeah.
Went in negative for the flu. So something was causing all that shit.
Right.
Anyways, all right. The last thing I have about driving.
Okay.
And I have brought this up before, but I'm going to heavily enforce this in case it didn't stick the first time. You know those stop signs at grocery store crosswalks?
Yeah.
They aren't a fucking option. They're not an option. They're not hey, if people are out, I should stop. Because there's so many people at my store in Norton, Ohio at Acme that flying isn't like 45, but like 30 through there. And they don't even stop because they don't see anybody.
I don't think that you're right on this, so I want to hear.
No.
I want to hear what you found because
those stop signs are not an option. They're not an option.
What did you find to support that? Because I'm going to tell you right now what you can go look up in Ohio Revised Code.
You're going to tell me that those stop signs are an option?
What those stop signs are is a control mechanism. Okay, so what that means?
No, I just highly disagree.
No. It's not a matter of whether or not you agree with me. I'm telling you this is Ohio law. All of that all of that property is private property. Okay?
Sure.
So imagine in your driveway, right? If you put a stop sign halfway up your driveway, so nobody can go more than halfway up, and somebody goes past it. Yeah, no, because that's what it is.
It's a stop sign.
No, it is a stop sign, but it's a control mechanism. What it is, and this is in the Ohio Revised Code.
All right, well, you're talking about getting a ticket. I'm not talking about getting a ticket.
But you're still at fault in an accident. So, like, if I blow through one of those and we get into an accident because I blew that, because that control mechanism is in place, it is still me as an at-fault accident.
Sure.
In terms of insurance, but they cannot give me a failure to control or anything like that because I'm on private property when it happens. They cannot give you an accident ticket.
Is it actually private property though? It's a business. It's a commercial property.
But it's not public property like a road. Public property is the only place that they can give you a ticket.
Okay. Well, I'm not talking about a ticket. I'm talking about common fucking sense. For one, it's a goddamn grocery market where people are walking, and there are kids that at times will sprout out in front of the road.
I'll say this: it depends on which one it is. The ones that are like right up by the front of the building and stuff, yeah, make sure you.
That's
stop
what
all
I'm
the time.
talking about.
But the other ones I'm talking about is like when you get clear out there where cars don't park, and you have the stop signs at the end of those roads.
I'm talking
you roll
literally,
through those and make your turn and go on.
right up around the front where there's an entrance on both sides.
Yeah.
And there's old people, and there's young people, and there's people crossing the fucking road.
Yeah.
And there's people that just do not fucking stop.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, whether it's against the law or not, it's not a fucking option.
Yeah.
Pull your ass out of your head out of your ass. That would probably be better. It'd be harder to pull your ass out of your head.
People could do it.
And stop. Even if you don't see anybody, because it happens to me every time, because I'm like, I'm going to stop and I'm going to wait. And then as soon as I'm about to go up there, somebody is, and I knew it. And yeah, if I probably wouldn't have stopped, maybe they wouldn't have lined up to where I had to stop, but take a fucking chill pill for 1 minute. Stop at the fucking stop sign. What else did I have wrote about this? I think people think because it's a grocery store, they don't have to stop. Maybe that's where the private property thing comes in.
Right.
But you're still a fucking moron for not stopping.
I agree with that.
Now there is, like at our Walmart, like if you go around back to get like to the back way, there's like stop signs in the back for like, I don't ever stop at those. Those are stupid. There's not even anybody back there.
So you can selectively.
There's no doors back there.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm asking.
If it was a crosswalk for humans, I would definitely stop.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I have on here, you're a shithead inbred moron if you don't stop and wait for a minute.
All right.
Did you like that? Because just stop, and then I will quit calling you names.
I like it. Fuck them.
Okay. That's all I got on it. Do you have any other driving things that have been pissing you off driving? I know you haven't been driving very much.
I'm going to tell you one thing that didn't piss me off driving.
Woo!
Is I had to drive to Cincinnati on Monday.
You're saying this way too calm.
To make a delivery. Oh, dude, calm ain't even the word. It was the greatest ride I've ever had to Cincinnati in my life. Driving through downtown Columbus was easy. There was no traffic, and I'm talking middle of the day. Got to Cincinnati, about a third of the normal traffic that was out. I mean, there's still some semi-trucks and stuff, but I mean, easy maneuvering, set the cruise, just roll, no problems. It was amazing. It was a beautiful day, whole way down and back. Couldn't have asked for anything better. It's the kind of drive that I won't get again after everything opens back up. So
that's what I was going to ask you. So you've driven this before.
Stressful on parts of it, yes.
So you could tell a significant decrease in vehicles on the road?
Huge.
Now, what day was this?
This was on Monday. So
okay.
Like, this is a full-on commute day for like people that would normally be going to work.
And Mondays should be more congested because people have been waiting 2 days to take the route.
Right. So yeah, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Start to finish.
Good. Awesome.
So that was my positive for the week.
Okay. What do you got for me?
All right. So check this shit out. So we're sitting in the living room, right? And my daughter's upstairs taking a shower, and in the wall, I can hear this drip, 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 and it's just, I'm like, motherfucker. So
it's the shit that makes nightmares.
It's
for homeowners.
It's fun for homeowners. So I go over to the wall, and like I can pinpoint right where it is, and it's right where the drain comes down. So it's like, okay, did something happen? Because it's all PVC in there, right? Because it's just a drain.
Well, and how does PVC erode? Let me ask you.
Oh, it doesn't erode. So there had to be a crack or something that had happened to it. I did read a little bit, some old PVC over a long enough timeline, if you use like super duper hot water and you live in an area that gets cold like we do, that
it can crack.
And it can't, but like it's extremely rare even for like old shit. I mean, mine is 40 years old, you know? So anyway, so I called my insurance company. Anybody that is looking for an insurance company, I, unsolicited, will tell you to get Progressive every time. They handle everything professionally, immediately. I have not had one problem with anything with them. Anytime I call them, they're easy to get a person on the phone. I don't wait for an hour. Changes in my policy for what's going on. I made a claim literally in 10 minutes. And this lady gave me a phone number. She's like, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Call this number. I will answer. I'm your adjuster, whatever you need. True to form, I called her at 8:30 one night, and she fucking answered the phone. I'm like, I feel bad calling this late, but I have a question. So I had to get an estimate from a plumber to come in and see what's going on, what's the total damages, you know, is there wall damage and shit that goes with it, you know, am I at risk of mold and the whole 9 yards, you know.
Well, sure you are.
So I go on Angie's List. You know, it's got a great reputation. That's where you go find people.
I've seen it, never been there.
Mm-hmm. So all I'm looking for right now is an estimate, right? To get this done. So I'm looking through and I find one. It's an older guy and his partner. Kind of like you were saying, reviews matter, right?
Reviews do matter.
These guys only had a couple bad reviews out of like hundreds. I mean, these guys have been doing this for forever. But even some of the good reviews, one of the things I noticed is said that they took some time. Like they're not the speediest fellers on earth because they've been doing this for 40 years. Well, I just need an estimate. I'm working from home. The appointment was for 9 o'clock in the morning. So I basically said hello, let them in, go upstairs, figure it out, come find me, let me know, and we go from there, right? So,
Although this type of situation, it could take more than just to figure it out.
but whatever the time is, figure it
Yeah.
out. And because I'm like, they knew, and it was through the insurance. If they had to remove drywall, like getting that put back in is part of the insurance claim and covered and stuff. To where, chop away, bro.
Yeah, chop away.
We got to figure out what's going on.
Chop the broccoli.
So they're upstairs, and I can hear them doing stuff and drills and whatever. And I'm just working along. And after about an hour and a half, he comes down. He said, "Well, here's good news. You don't actually have a drip." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What you're hearing is like he said the bend is a little bit clogged. So what's dripping is it's dripping through that bend. He's like, and that's why it keeps going a little bit.
So
after
it's
she's
clogged
done.
up here and it's dripping down.
Right?" And he said, "If it was just regular flowing, that's all you'd hear." I'm like, "Well, that's good." I said, "So that's something can be done." Oh yeah. He said that's a 78-cent part. I can get that switched out for sure. Now I still got to pay for the labor. To where I'm like, okay,
You got to pay for the wall they cut up.
right. So he's like, we're gonna check out everything else while we're here. Because he's like, it doesn't look like anything's been done with this plumbing in a long time. I'm okay with that. So about a half hour later, so they've been in the house a couple hours at this point. He comes down and he says, "Hey," he said, "I want you to come up take a look at this. The valve going into the toilet, it needed fixed. It was pretty much stripped out, to where like you could still get it to turn, but he said like one or two more turns it might go.
You mean the valve that goes up to the toilet?
Well, that line is brand new. I put that in last year when I put a new toilet in, right? But what I'm talking about is the one that actually comes out of the wall.
Oh.
That's where the actual thing is, right?
Gotcha.
So he's
So
like,
from the wall then up to the toilet.
yeah. So
okay.
he's like, yeah, that's no big deal. Just that's a real simple, maybe $3 or $4 thing. Put that in. He said 10 minutes to put it in.
So right now you're up to like $450 before insurance and labor.
Right. So I'm doing fine at this point. I'm like, okay, cool.
You're like, why do I have a $1,700 bill?
Well, let me get there. So he starts messing with the shower head, and he's like, your shower head is really, really loose.
Oh no, he started checking everything.
He did. And then he got to looking, and he's like, your drain is terrible. He's like, you're not getting hardly any drain out of this. I said, I know. We've dumped 18 million gallons of Drano down that, and it'll be amazing for a couple weeks with the Drano, and then but I have 3 women, all with long hair in the house. Who knows how much shampoo and conditioner goes down that thing. And that's one of the biggest things. Hair shampoo and conditioner will clog up anything together, right? Did you know that? Like it's
Hair.
shampoo and conditioner will mix together to make a fucking rock inside of your thing. So
I did not know that.
if you run a little bit of extra hot water at the end of a shower, like after you're done with all the soap and shit, run a little bit of extra hot water. It helps keep that shit clean. House hack through the middle of the story here. So he calls me upstairs and we're looking at some things, and there's some valves that are kind of jacked. He's like, your water pressure's jacked because this valve is bad. We got to definitely change that out. He's like, your shower head is literally like rusting from the inside out because it's 40 years old too, you know?
Yep.
So I was like, okay, like what's that? What are we talking about? He's like, all things told, like I can get you out the door like $275. I'm like, okay, if that's all it's going to be, my deductible is $500. So it's like, I can just call and cancel my claim. No problem. $275, fuck it. So he goes back to work, and these two, it's funny. They fight like two old women, telling each other to shut the fuck up and stuff like that. So like completely unprofessional, but like, I don't give a shit. It's a couple old guys. Like they were fine.
They're probably brothers.
Right. They're a little bit crusty. So it gets to be like 4:00, and I'm like, you guys have literally been here like all day. Like, what the hell? So I went upstairs. He had cut a huge chunk of drywall out, but from our closet. So like you can't see it when you walk up the steps. And he's like, both of these valves jacked. This is jacked. And he's like, and this is from your hot water. And you're basically spending extra money every month on your hot water bill because this thing is not working correctly. I'm like, okay, so what's this mean? He's like, it's probably gonna be another couple hundred. I was like, so it's still gonna be under $500? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, but we're gonna have to come back tomorrow. I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna be here. Come back tomorrow.
Right.
So they're up there the next day. Show up at 9:00 again. It is now 2:30. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like I got a couple calls that I got to make. So if you guys aren't going to be done in the next hour,
Yeah, your
keep working, but,
motherfucking
like,
each other is getting in the way here.
So they hurried up, and all of a sudden there's lead in their ass, and they got moving, right? So guy's like, all right, we're all done. You want to go ahead and settle up? I'm like, yeah. Hands me a bill for $1,285. And I said, what is this? He said, well, with all the extra valves and stuff, we had to make 2 trips out and all the labor. He's like, that's what it all comes to. I said, you never said anything about anything close to this. I said, I'm not paying this. He's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm not paying this. I said, this is absolutely ridiculous. I said, you knew that this was going to be on my insurance. So I said, I don't know if you thought you were going to just take more time. Oh, are you insulting my integrity now? I said, I'm not saying it's your integrity. I said, I'm just talking about that it took you 2 days to change 4 valves. He's like, we had to actually solder and everything. He's like, I had to bring an actual torch in here to get this done. I'm like, either way, what I'm saying is, this was never discussed. If you're going to go that far, you gotta get. So we jewed back and forth for a little bit, and I finally got him down $400. But I still I still paid $885 to get him the fuck out of there. So this is my word to the fucking wise. When it comes to having anybody in your house to do any fucking work like this, stay on their ass. Don't trust them to go for any period of time, and make sure that you have that fucking tab written down. And I told him, I said, I'm never going to use you again, but every plumber I have the rest of my life, the minute they tell me that there's changes, it's going in fucking writing. Right then and there. Exactly what they're doing and exactly what it's going to fucking cost me. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. I didn't have that fucking planned in to come out of my fucking checking account this week. You know what I mean? Like, really? I thought you were coming here to do a fucking test, and next thing you know, 2 days later, I'm out $885. Now, there better never be another fucking plumbing issue in my entire bathroom. I'll tell you that.
How's it running, by the way?
It's amazing.
Well, at least they did it right.
I'm not picking on the work. I will say this. They did outstanding work. And I'm not saying their name because I'm not going to give them credit for the work, and I'm not going to undercut them like that because that was just my experience. I hope that he learned something from it, that he does things a little bit different next time. But, yes, everything works magnificently. And they actually found,
Good.
You ever seen those little, the things that you stick down the drain and, like, try to get the hair and stuff out and you pull them out? It's kind of like a snake, but it's like a manual one. It's like, it's just a piece of plastic. Well, there was one of those that was broke off about 4 inches down in. Now, I personally would never use something like that. And he said, looking at it, that it looked like it had been there for a long, long time. So the assholes that had the house before us had that fucking thing all the way down in there, and we didn't know it. So that wasn't helping our clogging issue.
No, of course not.
Yeah. So glad to have that out of there. Everything's draining good. Everything's working right, but be fucking careful when it comes to dealing with people like that.
Okay.
I feel when you feel like you're old enough and smart enough to not get taken for a ride anymore,
Yeah.
and then you get taken for a ride, it kind of is like a little shot to the fucking ego, like, motherfucker, really?
Okay.
So, fuck that shit.
All right. So is that your hype?
I mean, that's my plumbing thing. Yeah, I'm fucking pissed off that it cost me that kind of fucking money without fucking knowing. It's bullshit.
All right. Well, on your disappointed, or I said on the consumer side, I'm going to do our first product review tonight. So, I'm not going to reveal what's in the bag. Anybody that knows what might be in the bag, you can guess the golden egg here.
What's in the box?
So, I am a huge music fan. I know you are as well.
Yeah.
But I do, not that I'm a better music fan than you, but as far as the audio integrity and music goes, like when we're doing our podcasting, I can tell when the shit don't sound right. Not that you don't, but after I point it out, you're like, yeah, that don't sound right.
I enjoy good sounding music, and I know when good sounding bad sound is, but I don't have the knowledge that you do.
It's not
like,
even
all
a
that
knowledge.
mic line's fucked, or that amp's not coming through correctly. You're
Like,
gonna hear shit
well,
like that. I'm not gonna.
For instance, we got a new mixer. And when we play the intro music and the outro music, it just wasn't sounding right. So I am still at home working out the bugs. In other words, I haven't fucked with it since we took it back.
Right.
But nevertheless, I could just tell. So in other words, I label myself as an audiophile, as not a pedophile, an audiophile. And
aficionado.
yeah. So one of the things that I have always enjoyed are a nice over-the-ear or noise-canceling headphone.
Yeah.
And I don't like the earbuds that go in. I do have a pair that I use at work, but I kind of use those because I can still hear what's going on around.
Right.
And I kind of need to.
Yeah. There's times that you just want you and what's in your ears, though.
But I will tell you what. If you find a decent noise-canceling headphone that blocks out most of the sound, doesn't have to block out everything, but most of the sound, and plays really good, it's worth it, in my opinion. Now, those of you that don't give a shit about music much, which I know 85% of Americans probably do, this is what I finally invested in.
Okay.
And for years walking through the store, I'm like, I will never fucking do it. Beats-By-Dre. I mean, I can remember walking through stores, just browsing, $400, $300 for these over-the-ear headphones. And I'm like, I love music. I might even love music more than 50% of you, but I would never invest that much into a pair of headphones. Well, I still didn't.
Yeah.
But, Mr. President Trump's doing a little bit of this. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you how much I would spend on a good pair of headphones, probably within the $60 to $80 range.
Okay.
I would spend that much. Mm-hmm. And then, so, like I said, the Prez was doing a little bit of this. So I'm like, well, I'll add a little bit to it.
Increase the budget a little.
So what I ended up spending, I got them from eBay, were the Beats-By-Dre Solo 3.
Okay.
They were $140.
Okay.
Didn't really break the bank all that much. And the reason I got this version was a couple reasons. You like that, huh?
Yeah.
A little clickety-click. They adjust. They really do fit snug. They only fit one way. If you put them on the other way, they don't fit because they're angled.
Yep.
They're really snug. They sound freaking awesome. Now, not out of the box, at least through my phone where I have all my music, they sounded really bland at first.
Yeah.
But in my music player, you can go in and you can set the EQ to like rock, or jazz, whatever it is, and then you can do a custom, which as an audiophile, I get into the custom and I set it and it sounds. Once I did that, I was like, oh. You can hear all the low ranges, the mid ranges, the high ranges really good. The only thing that I'm kind of having problems with on some music, some songs are like and I'm sure it's just where I have it tweaked, is the vocals are a little low at times, but still, regardless, these things are badass. So, as you can see, they're wireless, so they are Bluetooth.
Okay.
But the reason I got these, and there probably is other, and maybe every single Beats-By-Dre does this.
Yeah.
But they come with the wire that you can plug in.
Okay.
My phone, the LG V30, I think it is, has this high quality DAC, but it only works with the wired.
Yeah.
So I also like to have a wired option just because. So what you can do is, without turning these on with the Bluetooth, you can wire them up with no power.
Yeah.
And they work.
It's awesome.
And it was sweet because when I first got it, I didn't even turn them on. I just plugged it in my phone with the wire. It's also got a call. You can raise the volume, you can pause it and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Highly impressed. And then I went to the Wi-Fi, and you'll love this. Since you're an iPhone guy.
Yeah.
Did you know? Let's back up a second. Did you know Beats-By-Dre was sold? I didn't know it was sold. Did you know it was sold?
Did not.
Guess who bought it?
Apple.
Apple bought it.
Doesn't shock me.
So, if I was to turn these on and just place it remotely close to your phone, auto connect without doing anything.
It's badass.
Pretty fucking badass. Now, I don't have an iPhone, so I had to go into my Bluetooth and hit pair.
We can't all be Apple people.
But highly impressed that I can do both.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't have to turn them on, they can be completely dead. I can plug in the wire and listen to them, or I can do it Bluetooth. Either way.
Yeah.
The battery life on this, I had to charge it after 7 days just because I wanted to charge it for the first time.
Yeah. That's awesome. So battery life going forever.
40 hours on these. 40 hours on these.
That's awesome.
Did I say 40 hours? So basically, while I was working, now I have to answer the phone a lot, but while I was working, I would listen to these probably 2 hours a day for 7 days. Now, I know that adds up to 14.
Yeah.
But still,
it's pretty impressive.
I'm checking the little display, and it goes off, and then you click it, and it's 4 bars still. I'm like, well, fuck. Well, I'm just gonna charge it up because I want to.
Yeah.
And but highly impressed. So if you can find a pair of Beats-By-Dre for around $150, I would highly recommend it. If you're an audiophile like me,
It's worth the juice is worth the squeeze on that one. Huh?
Plus they come in this cool little bag and whatnot, and
That's fun, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for the review.
So I think that's our first product review ever.
Other than beer? I would say that's
Other than beer. That's right.
probably fair.
Yeah. So big fan
Yeah.
all of a sudden. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I always wanted a pair of Beats by Dre.
Yeah.
And I can remember when we had a coworker that got the over the ear, the little earbuds that went inside, and I was like, "You bought those?" I was like almost appalled. And she said, "Oh, well, they were only like $80." I'm like, all right, not too bad.
Still, though, whatever.
But the noise canceling on these, the Beats
Yeah.
Solo 3, are very good. You put them on, you can still hear some things, but for the most part, you kind of go into like the cone of silence.
Yeah.
Which I love that.
Yeah.
The one thing they don't do completely is like if you got it jamming and they're kind of up loud, and like if you did, I could hear kind of a little bit what's going on.
Sure.
So they're not completely like if you don't want anybody knowing what you're listening to, these aren't the ones. You might want to find the ones that go completely over the ear.
Gotcha.
But really good nonetheless.
I like it.
The review I watched, we talk about reviews. The review I watched on these was a guy that actually worked out a lot. And he was showing and he was saying that when he was in the gym, these were a very good headphone for the gym.
Good.
Because they didn't fall off. He said maybe they fell off like once or twice, but he said it was a certain scenario where he kind of thought they would.
Gotcha.
So,
It's badass, man.
right on.
Good times.
So I keep telling the kids, stay away from my Beats.
Leave him alone. It's daddy's.
Daddy's toy. So,
What did you think of the NFL draft? I know that it was last weekend, but I want to talk sports just for a minute because some things are changing over the last couple of days in the world of sports. So just the two-minute version of the NFL draft. It doesn't have to be in-depth on every pick. Just
yeah.
what do you think
So,
about how they did it?
I'm going to give you my 2-second version.
Okay.
Because I didn't watch a lot of it. I did watch some. I watched the first round, or most. Well, I came in about a half an hour late, but I knew the Browns' 10th pick wasn't even going to be
Off the board yet?
so I knew that it was going to be pretty close.
Yeah.
So I watched it up until that. It was okay. And then I watched a little bit more than actually I watched up until I don't know. Maybe I did watch a lot more after the Browns pick, just to kind of see who was going where, and there were you know a lot more of the players.
Sure.
And then I was surprised that the Steelers didn't even have a pick in the first round, did they?
No.
It was like pick 49 when they finally picked.
Well, they traded it last year for All-Pro Minka Fitzpatrick. So if you want to look at it that way.
The safety?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Minka Patrick's a bad man. So
No, I'm sure.
that first-round pick was worth every penny.
So I have a couple questions for you real quick.
Yeah.
Before we get into your idea of it.
Okay.
I thought the draft was okay. Like I was telling Jake, I thought it was kind of a little corny with when the commissioner got up there and they had all those people screaming in behind him. I know that's the theme of the draft. You have the fans going crazy. I get it.
Yeah.
But to me, I think they were trying to replicate too much of what it really goes on there. And Jake was like, well, he goes, if that was you on that one of your little box up there, you thought it would have been pretty cool. And yeah, it would have been pretty cool, but I don't know. But okay, so we all know that the Miami Dolphins were dog shit last year.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, John Morgan, for still being a fan.
Nick Perrin, you too.
Yeah, that's right. It seemed like from what I saw in the first couple rounds, they did all right.
They nailed it, man. They had a good draft.
So you think they're going to be a little bit more prevalent
I think they were more prevalent last year. I mean, they were
towards
picked,
the end?
They were picked to go like 0-16. And I think they ended up winning 5 or 6 games, and like
Yeah.
they were really competitive at the end of the year.
Now, did Fitzpatrick come in mid-season, or was he there the whole season?
He was there the whole season, but like it was off and on with the other quarterbacks throughout the season. And then he ended up playing most of it at the end. So,
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to get into a specific team like that, yeah, they had a real nice draft.
I think the Browns did well.
The Browns did really, really well.
Who do you think did the best? Because I don't know who. I didn't watch it enough to grade everybody.
Baltimore.
Now, are you saying that just because of Dobbins?
No, everyone they went through. I actually read I do a lot of reading on this kind of stuff before and afterwards. They gave everybody their team grades. Basically, Baltimore had 7 picks. Every one of those picks was projected by all the experts to go at least 20 picks higher than what they went. So they got extremely high value. I think they got one of the best 5 actual players in the draft in the second round by drafting Dobbins, the running back out of Ohio State. Running backs usually are cheaper in drafts, but to me,
recently they didn't used to be.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while you'll get an Ezekiel Elliott, or Dalvin Cook. There's a few guys that are like top 10 guys, because they're just that good. McCaffrey went high. There's a reason McCaffrey went high. Gurley went high. There's a reason. I mean, all the guys that go high typically work out on some level as far
Except
as
Trent
running backs.
Richardson.
Hey, they still got a first round pick back for him, so
Did they?
Colts had to eat that. Yeah, they
Good.
traded him for a first round pick. They did really, really well. My favorite draft moment of the entire thing was that near the end of the first round, I don't know if you were watching,
I might have been.
the Green Bay Packers selected Justin Love. Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean much to most people.
Yeah, I did see that.
The thing about it is,
You love the controversy right off the bat.
instant controversy in Green Bay because
I don't think so.
Oh, no. People are still, even as of yesterday, I'm reading, people are freaking out because
Well,
they
the
have
media's the media.
They have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, and anybody in Green Bay will tell you that there was God and then there was Aaron Rodgers and whatever. Clearly, I am not an Aaron Rodgers fan by any stretch of the
I've seen
imagination.
his AR tattoo.
No, you haven't.
Oh, that's mine.
may-
As I got an AR tattoo.
Maybe if there was a 15 after it.
I'm gonna get an AR tattoo. I deserve one.
An AR-15 for Adam Reisinger?
Oh, you just said my name. It's the first time ever.
I don't think that's true.
I'm gonna have to bleep that. Kidding.
It'll be fine.
It's good.
They can't even spell Reisinger. R-A-Y. No.
Rice. Anyways.
This kid they took a quarterback in the first round instead of taking a wide receiver, which they desperately need. And there were two good wide receivers just sitting there like, hey, we can come play for you on day one.
It
as
was kind of weird that
starters."
they took him.
And they basically said, hey, we had this kid rated a lot higher. Quarterback wasn't something that we feel is an immediate need, but immediately everybody's like, you didn't get Rodgers' help to win now. You drafted his replacement. Well, guess what? They did the exact same thing when Brett Favre was still there. They drafted Rodgers a couple years before it was time for Favre to go out to pasture. So what happens? He sits on the bench for 2 years. Oh, it's time for Favre to move on to his next team. The Vikings was who he went to next.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you got a guy that's 24 years old, knows every trick in the book already, and is ready to come in and just rock out.
And
which he
hasn't
did.
been beat up.
Right, but then the beauty is this kid that they draft, he is the closest. They're saying he's the closest thing at quarterback to Michael Vick since Michael Vick. Giant rocket arm, runs around like a crazy person. It's like Tyreek Hill being able to throw a football. But he weighs like 185 pounds. He's like 6'1".
Yeah, but he's gonna bulk up.
And he only played a handful of college games. Like it was either 18 or 20 college games. So he doesn't have that much college experience. He's going to sit for a couple years, and he is not a typical NFL today pro-style quarterback. Like the greats today, like Mahomes will run when he needs to because he's got the legs to.
Yeah, but he runs a lot.
But he slings the rock, dude.
Yeah, he does.
He slings the rock, and Love runs a lot. So I'm excited for the controversy coming out of there. That made me extremely happy. Overall, though, I like the way they did it. I like that Goodell kept making all the picks. To where they always hand it off to like the vice commissioner or something.
Well,
You're getting drafted. Roger Goodell should welcome you in.
I watched the last one quite a bit. And, they have all kinds of special guests come out and do picks.
Right, but what I'm saying is after the first round, though, he leaves. To where it's like it's
Oh.
another guy that's up there for the next 6 rounds. Well, they didn't do that with this one. He actually made every one of the picks, and I like that. I think that the commissioner of the league should be welcoming you in as you get picked. So
Yeah.
I
A
like
lot
I
of
like
good,
that a
lot of good stories with the draft. A lot of good stories. Some young men with tough, not necessarily always tough upbringings, but
Some of them
seem
were
like
tough. You've been
seem
through
like
a lot.
Oh, been through a lot for sure. There was a couple that they lost their fathers early, and it's like Jesus.
Right.
This theme of this,
Young heart attacks and people with surgeries and
or there was one guy that even took his life.
yeah.
So it was just a lot of like kids or young men that don't have dads, and I'm like, God, this is a weird theme. But anyways,
Yeah. It was amazing. I was happy for it. I like that they covered a whole bunch of people every day to where like guys that normally wouldn't have a camera around had it all set up in their house where it's like as guys got taken off the board, they shut their cameras offline. They put new guys online with their cameras to where like 5th round picks, you could see their little excited draft party coming through. Like I thought it was awesome.
yeah, no, it could have been a lot worse. I really didn't even think about how they were going to do it, but I
Right.
think if they had to do it again, they probably wouldn't change much. It went off pretty good.
They better not change it for next year, baby. Coming to Cleatown.
That's right.
Cannot wait for the draft in Cleveland next year.
That's right.
It's gonna be badass.
The Harper will be in Cleveland. Not sure if we'll be doing anything live, but we might.
We might.
Maybe we'll take a little round table with us and go sit it up somewhere and just interview people and do the Harper.
We might. And when fans get pissed about who their picks are, come on, tell me what you think as a Giant fan, because they're never happy.
Oh, no one's ever happy.
As a
The
Giant fan,
Giant fan?
no. So, anything else on the draft, or do you want to go to the other couple sports topics I wanted to bring up here?
The draft. So how do you think the Bears did?
They nailed it. They're another team that didn't have a first-round pick because of the Khalil Mack trade. So, but they had 2 second-round picks. The 2 guys that they took in the second round.
Who'd they get? I don't even know. Give me some positions.
Cole Kmet,
I don't want names. Positions.
tight end, number 1 tight end in the draft, out of the University of
Oh, the ND.
Notre Dame,
And then right after that, a Notre Dame guy went somewhere else.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, was it Pittsburgh? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But Cole Kmet's legit. He's giant. He's from Arlington Heights, which is just outside of Chicago.
Yeah, I remember-
So, he's a Chicago boy all the way. He's the answer to the legit tight end. He's a Travis Kelce prototype. I mean, he's a giant that can run, catches everything, super durable.
I did see that pick when it came from Notre Dame and went to Chicago. I'm like, Jake just went to the bathroom and stroked one off.
I mean, I wouldn't go quite that far with it, but
I bet he did.
I was like, woo! And I was in the car during that actual pick. And then the other guy, Jordan, I forget his last name. He was a cornerback that was an All-American the year before and was a projected top 10 pick. Decided to come back, tore his rotator cuff, didn't know it, played the entire season with a torn rotator cuff, and still was a second-team All-American. So fell in the draft. He's got his shoulder fixed. I mean,
Hopefully he's not injured because
he looks like a killer. Other than that, their draft was taking some shots on some guys. They always pick a wide receiver that's got some high top end speed. A couple offensive linemen. They usually do really well with late round offensive linemen. They do their homework to where those guys become starters, and that's where you make your hay in the NFL. When you can draft 4th, 5th, 6th round guys that become legitimate contributing starters.
Yeah.
That's where the money's at. So as a Bear fan, super happy with that.
All right, good. All right, we can move on.
All right, the UFC. They button hooked us on 49 and it got canceled, but it's back on. It's going to be the first real. I mean, the draft was watched by record numbers of people.
Oh, I was going to say
because it's the only real sport thing,
and it wasn't even sports,
right? But it's sports related.
Sports related, highly sports related.
Yeah. So the first one's back though. It's going to be the UFC. 249 is set up. God bless you, Florida. Florida made it essential to have entertainment for the people.
Good.
To where they're allowed to.
Well,
to
hey,
put
by the
fights on there.
way, tomorrow is May 1st. This is when this. How ironic! This is when our episode will air.
Just the first wave, though. Like you still can't get into a restaurant.
I know. But who's gonna strangle Mike DeWine?
Nobody. That guy has earned countrywide fame for the way that he's handled this.
No,
dude.
No,
I'm not.
No,
I'm not going to agree with you. Mike DeWine has handled this like a champion.
I'll tell you why in a little bit why he hasn't.
Okay.
But anyways, so what else sports you got?
So UFC, and they're coming back hard in a big way. Starting next Saturday night at 8 o'clock, we got a couple hours of prelims that are going to be on ESPN for free. Then it's a pay-per-view. I don't love the fact that it's a pay-per-view, but it is a loaded-ass card. They were like...
So are we back to no stands or no fans in the stands?
No fans in the stands. But it's going to be incredible. And then they've loaded up. They doubled down. So we have a fight next Saturday night. That's followed by a fight next Friday night. So 6 days later. And then again, that's Sunday night. So we're getting 3 fight nights in 8 days. Welcome back. Real sports. It's going to be badass.
Yeah, speaking of which, figure out what you're doing with the fucking baseball. We got our refund stuff. Did you see this information?
This is another thing I want to talk about.
Okay, so...
We're special.
Why?
We're special. Did you read the whole thing?
Did it say we're special?
Yes. It says you are special.
All right, so I guess this is for all of MLB, but we, Jake and I have a little inside scoop on some of the stuff that's going on, and we got an email today or the other day, yesterday.
Yep.
And probably shouldn't mention the name, but anyways, we got the email, and it said you have 2 options. Option 1, which means you don't have to do anything. You just have to let it ride. And what let it ride means, you just leave your cards in the queue, tickets in the queue, and it will be updated down the road that you're going to get up to a 10% bonus, possibly.
No, you didn't read any of this correctly.
I didn't.
I read the entire thing twice to make sure that I understood.
I read it
all.
4 times.
Then I don't know how you didn't get it. Option 1, you take your tickets that you currently have. You refund them into your ballpark account.
That's not what I read.
I'm telling you right now, I can pull it up. I went through it again.
It said at the very bottom, you don't have to do anything.
That's for something different. So, your option 1, if you have any game tickets for March or April that are not opening day, everything but opening day for the March and April games, your 2 options. A, put it into your
So it said excluding opening day.
excluding opening day.
Well, I didn't read that.
That's why I'm telling you. if you have any other game, your choice is you can take the money, put it in your MLB ballpark account, and then when games become available, that money, they're going to add 10% to whatever it is. So if you have $500 in tickets, you now have $550 worth of tickets.
Yeah, Reno come back and says 10%. That's 3 hot dogs.
Right, exactly. So that's what you can do with step 1. And then those tickets have to be bought by the end of next season, unless something else happens. They have that caveat in there that they can refund it again, extend it, blah, blah, blah. Option 2, you just get your money back.
Right, refund.
Simple. Now, this is where I
Can
said
be up to 2 weeks.
This is where I said we're special. If you have opening day tickets, your options are you can do option 1 or 2. That's completely up to you if you want to do that. Option 3 for us, though, is that we can hold pat. What will happen is whatever the first game of the season is, let's say the first game of the season is May 8th. I'm just throwing a date out there. Or May 29th, whatever it is, okay?
Whatever, feeling kind of special.
Whatever ticket you have for opening day, those are your tickets for that game. Everybody that has a game that have tickets for that game, because it'll be a couple weeks ahead of time at least that they'll announce when this is going to be. Those people then go back into the option A or option 1 or option 2 pool, right? And then we also have that same option at that point. If it's May 29th and you can't go, you had your opening day tickets, you held on to them to see what the date was going to be. All of a sudden you can't go, you still have option 1 or option 2. So we have 3 basically levels of protection.
It doesn't make any sense. Oh, so if okay, I'm gonna just. They're not letting anybody into any stands the rest of this year.
Not true.
It is true.
No, it's not true.
There will be no NFL games with people in the stands this year.
I will take a bet on that right now.
There will not be.
I will take a bet.
$10.
$10. Now I gotta go get the Purell wipes out.
No,
here
we
in a
don't.
minute. No.
I'm not licking my knuckles.
No, there will be people in stands for NFL games this year. Bet,
Not before January.
bet your sweet ass.
There will not be.
Okay.
End of December, maybe, but no.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. This rolls into the next one.
Okay.
Well, it really didn't roll into the next one. Do you have anything else?
Sports wise,
Yeah.
that was it. That was the UFC and the baseball that I wanted to bring up.
Okay, so the reason why they're not going to let anybody else, because it's not just COVID-19. It's not just the coronavirus. I told you 2 weeks into this, before we even were sent home, they're not telling us everything. You may not remember me saying that, but I know I told my wife. She remembers me saying it, but they're not telling us everything.
Okay.
If this was just a flu outbreak, similar to the flu, it's obviously a little bit more extensive than the flu, but that's what everybody was gauging it from, the flu.
Yeah.
They would not have shut down the world.
It was because of the level of contagious that this is. That's what it is.
I believe that you think that they tell you everything, but they don't.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you my opinion. It could be completely wrong, but the government will never, ever, ever tell you everything, especially when there's BioTerror or something like that in the world. They're going to try to condense it, and I'm pretty sure that that's what this was. Because as soon as it started to spread, they started shutting shit down. And I don't know. The numbers just don't. So let me get what I've got here. They wouldn't have shut down the country just over a virus. I really don't believe it. They didn't shut the country down over AIDS.
AIDS is different.
We had the swine flu.
Oh, no. Trust me.
They didn't shut down the country.
But we fucked up some of that. Some of that shit should have been more severe to stop happening. But this
What was the other one? There was the swine flu. There was something else.
The
bird flu.
H1N1. The bird flu.
H1N1. They didn't shut down the country over this. Now they could have. They didn't. Our state leaders and national leaders are not telling us everything. I missed it. There's too many different symptoms. Have you heard the symptoms? The first symptoms were everybody needed respirators. It was like they were breathing in glass and they couldn't catch their breath. It was almost like when they coughed, they couldn't get their breath back. That sounds horrible. That sounds horrible.
That's what the ventilators are all for.
Exactly. Then I heard a few weeks later, and I had heard this maybe into like the 3-week range, but I heard it like in the 6-week range as well, to where there was a guy that lost smell and taste for 4 days. That was the coronavirus. What?
This thing has done so many different things. Everybody reacts to
No.
things different.
I'm going to tell you what. There was a BioTerror attack. Whether it was started in Wuhan or there was people that infected people all over the country. This was a BioTerror attack.
Okay.
No one. There's a lot of people that will back this up. Here's the other one. They've been calling this a virus, right? If you look at close enough, you will see the word disease. That's impossible. My wife has Crohn's disease. She can never be cured from it. This is not a disease. This is a virus.
Who's been saying disease?
If you look enough, if you look deep enough, and I saw, because my wife was freaking out about this. She showed me about 5 or 6 different places in the internet where they're calling it a disease.
You can't believe everything you read on the internet. There's a huge difference between a
I
disease
don't
and a
believe
virus.
I don't believe half of this shit.
Those are two different things.
Exactly.
So that's just poor journalism.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're stating it on some of these big press releases. And lastly, I think it's 2020. I'm pretty sure if they told us the truth, there is so many people. Have you read like where Mike DeWine states something and there's like all these fucking people bashing him? Open up the fucking state, Mikey! All this shit. They don't believe that half of this stuff is necessary. Now, I'm not a complete idiot. I do believe that the staying at home was probably a good idea. I don't believe every bit of it, though. I think that half of these people would have stopped bitching and complaining if they would have just been told the truth. Tell us that there was a BioTerror attack. I'm serious, man.
I just don't agree. I'm not getting on board with this conspiracy theory that this is a BioTerror attack.
They would never have shut down the country. They would never have shut down the country. We've had so many different flus and
we live in an era that everything's got a big reaction to it. I mean, I honestly believe.
There's no way, man.
Hold on. That the level of contagious is what we're talking about. Because, okay, you brought up like the normal flu, and me and my wife had talked about this, that the death numbers that come out of this, the way that the model's looking, is going to be very comparable with a standard year of the regular flu. Right?
It's going to be higher, but yes.
Yes. But now, here's the other thing that people aren't paying attention to, that if you're not on the inside, you don't know this.
I'm sure. There's a lot we don't know.
If you have stage 4 pancreatic cancer, the doctor told you 4 months ago you have 4 months to live. All of a sudden, you have coronavirus and you die. Your cause of death is called
coronavirus.
And not the stage 4 pancreatic cancer
Exactly.
that was actually going to kill you. Okay?
Right.
To where it should be complications from pancreatic cancer. Like that's the one thing that, to me, that they're categorizing stuff wrong.
So it takes over, for sure.
If it was categorized right, it's brought down. But I believe that on a normal year, interaction doesn't change. 80,000 people still show up to a ballpark on a normal year where we have these numbers. We have these numbers in spite of the fact that nobody's allowed to do that. To where if we would have just stayed on the course we were on, this would have been 10 times worse than what it was. To where
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. So we're getting to a point where we're eliminating it. The more hosts you eliminate,
I don't agree. I don't disagree with what they've done to prevent it.
We just disagree.
What I'm saying is there's a whole bunch of shit that they have not told us. There's more going on because they have never, ever, ever shut down the country like this. And there's been plenty of, like I said, H1N1, the swine flu. There's been so many different levels that they could have said, you know what, we should probably take a step back here. But they just don't.
But this is what I'm trying to say is maybe the way that this is being handled isn't wrong. Maybe
I didn't say it was.
Maybe
the information is wrong.
But maybe the way that those other ones were handled is just what is completely wrong. I don't really feel like the situations are that different. I just think that it was handled better by this administration.
I think it's a lack of information as well. I really do. And they're not going to tell you that the world or the country or whatever, and it was a world. It was world attack.
I'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying that I don't care if you agree with me.
It's okay. We're allowed to disagree.
There is no way in hell that they shut down the country because of something posing as a flu that might have killed. Okay, let's say the flu kills, 60,000 a year? Mm-hmm. So let's say this was going to double that.
The original estimates were like 250,000 in the United States alone.
Well,
And they got that number trimmed down real fast.
Yeah, they did. And I think the numbers I heard, well, we're only December, I guess. So what are we in? Like 4 months of this? And the numbers are gonna surpass well, I guess this is world numbers. I guess if you're looking at just the U.S. numbers, because that's what when we're comparing to the flu.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to surpass it. Whether we get into the 70s or 80s.
But that's what I'm saying. Even with all the precautions, it's still going to pass it. So it would have been worse.
It would have been worse.
It was a good idea to shut down for all of this. I don't think that was wrong.
Okay, I'm not
I
disagreeing
feel like
with
it should
that.
have been more. I actually feel like it should have been a little bit more restrictive. Like some things they got wrong. Sometimes, like stop trying to close churches by law. You can't close a church. Stop being an idiot and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like those are those kind of things are stupid to me.
Okay.
So anyway,
All right.
not a big of a deal.
Now on the lighter side, we've already been doing this for an hour and 5 minutes. We're not going to shut it down. This is going to roll on for the rest of the night. Just kidding. Jake's like, what?
I don't
All
give a
right.
shit.
So, have you been watching any new shows on Netflix? I know you have because you've been home all this time.
I watched All American, and that's really the only.
Have you
new
seen The Innocence Project?
show. Not yet. I have it.
For a avid member of the Gallows Pole fan club, you need to watch some of The Innocence Project.
I will. It's on the list. I just haven't got to it yet.
So, without giving too much away, there is a thing called forensic odontology.
Okay.
Any idea what that is just from the name?
Is that the one where they can basically use family members' DNA to figure out if somebody was a perp?
No, close, but not so close. It's where they take the bite mark impressions,
Okay.
dentistry,
Okay.
and they take the bite mark and then they they match them up to the wounds on the victims.
Yeah.
Seems like a logical thing. But after you watch this, after you get into like
I'm
4
sure
or
it's an
5
inexact
episodes,
science.
no, it's not even inexact. It's like in the 80s and 90s, they used it a lot. The big first case was Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Uncle Bundy. Yeah. Uncle Ted. Now that one actually looks like it worked.
Because he has a super abnormality.
He
with
had
his
some
teeth.
wicked front teeth, and you could this has to be Ted, okay? But now on some of these other ones,
That it's like just a gap here or something misaligned, like smaller things.
well, there was a doctor, I guess you call him a doctor. His name is Dr. Michael West of Mississippi. And he was doing these, he did probably thousands of cases. And the guy that originally did Ted Bundy, that doctor was Dr. Michael West's
Mentor.
no, it was like his hero.
Oh.
Like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. But he got so much shit wrong.
Doesn't surprise me.
So much shit wrong from bite marks. If you're getting a bite mark, there has to be a bottom and a top, because otherwise, if you just do the top, you're not going to get much. Well, he was comparing just some of these cases were just like it matches up at the top perfectly. Yeah, there's nothing on the bottom, but yeah, there was this one case. I'm just going to go over this one case real quick where, unfortunately, there was a perpetrator that was had raped 2 3-year-old girls. And then after he was done with the bodies, threw them into a pond.
Okay.
Or a body of water, small body of water. Horribly disgusting act and cruelty here. But in the one case, he took who he thought the main suspect was. He took his molds, the odontology, and he was lining them up with these marks that were, and they said there was over 30-some bite marks. That's a lot. In most of these cases, that there really are bite marks, there's 1 or 2. And you could see how he was trying to line. And this was all just top jaw bites. There was nothing on the bottom. You could see where he was lining him up, and then he would scoot it to the little bit, and then line it, and he would put these guys away for life or death because he was an expert.
Yeah.
They come back to find out later that those marks were actually caused by crayfish.
Really?
Because if you leave a body in a body of water for long enough, and there's
Yeah.
crayfish, crawdads, whatever you call them,
Yeah.
they will come up and start eating the skin.
Sure.
But this guy he was lining them up with these marks.
It's crazy. I'll have to watch it.
It's phenomenally crazy. And what all of a sudden it does, it makes you think that everybody in prison's innocent, right?
Sure.
Because you watch enough of these. But these are guys that spent 18 to 35 years in prison
Yeah, it's crazy.
for shit that they didn't do.
It's crazy.
One guy was, I think his name was Kenny Brooks. He was on death row. And the Innocence Project is actually a group of people that
I know what it is.
they work but they can't. They have piles and piles because
They have to be choosy on the cases because they
Highly
have so
choosy.
many that people write in and
Right.
ask them to take on cases. Yeah.
But this gets back to my point: our justice system, and how the sheriffs and the officers and the DAs want to close this case as fast as they can. We've seen this time and time again.
Sure.
They want to shut this shit down so fast that they don't do a proper investigation.
Yeah.
They don't. And it now obviously they get some right. This isn't all negative. But
No.
it's just phenomenally crazy that they get so much of these wrong.
I think that we've talked a lot about sometimes, like, you look at cases and it's like the evidence is very subjective,
Right.
Sometimes it's like one person's eyewitness account, which there's been more than one show that has talked about how you can basically, through questions, people's eyewitness accounts aren't worth shit
Right.
most of the time.
On this show, this is a simple thing. They were showing this guy that was a witness
Yeah.
in a shooting. They were showing him this book of like possible suspects. And they were going through them. And he's like, that's the guy. And the officer's like, couldn't be him. He's in jail. And they keep going. He's like, that's the guy. Could be, but can't be him. He's doing something else, or he's somewhere else. So he's like, then they finally gets to like pick number 6. Yeah, it could be him. He's in a gang and he's trying to earn his stripes. And this guy gets sent away for 30 years because of that.
I'm agreeing with you. Like, there's definitely flaws in our justice system with what is and is not considered evidence.
It just blew my mind that there's people. But you know what the funny thing is? These guys that are getting out like in this time period, like from 2000 to now, are getting millions.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't make the trade though.
I wouldn't make the trade either, but these guys are living pretty cushy for the rest of their life. They're getting out of.
They went through 20 years of prison, man.
The one guy got out, went in at
I got no problem with our tax dollars going to people like that.
No, I don't either. But it's a sad story. It's just a really sad story.
Yeah.
And I wish that they would just buckle it down and not be in such a hurry.
Yeah. I did see that there's another season of I Am a Killer.
I watched that too.
There's 2 seasons of it. It's like 18 episodes total. It's not that many. Holy shit.
I watched all of season 1, and I think I'm halfway on season 2.
There's a couple on season 2 that are like, whoa.
The first couple on season 2 are really good. They're like, wow.
There's a few in the middle that are a little shaky. Dude, the
Yeah.
last 2, especially the last one, they saved the best for last.
Okay, I'll get back on it.
It's crazy. Like, it's one of those where it's like, it's almost like a Dateline. Like, you know how like Dateline is like,
They do it really good.
like this happens and that happens, but then this happens. And then even after that, this happens. Like, is this real?
What about the guy, the kid that makes me want to just fucking kill these adults that do this to kids? But the one kid, he was a real tiny tot, and he was with his trailer park trash parents, and there was like this friend of the mom that would like feed him and like keep him like not dying.
Yeah.
And then the kid finally got adopted after so many years by this family, and then they decided to move away, so they had to put him back into the like adoption agency.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got adopted by this dude that like started molesting him, and basically this kid had up until 19 just had all this shit show, and then he finally snapped on the menace who adopted him last.
Yeah.
He snapped on the guy's parents, and he ended
Yeah.
up killing them.
Yep.
in a blind rage.
Sure.
And then he ended up doing, I think he's on death row, or at least life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he was on death row, but they got it because of all this shit he
They
had been
got it
through.
commuted.
They got it commuted. And it's like, I mean, you're watching these people, and they're telling you that they were bad, and it's whether it's
I like it because it's an unbridled, honest look. I mean,
It is.
most of these people are like, look, my case has run its course. There's nothing to be gained or lost.
right.
I'll tell the story now.
The only problem is the way they curve it and the way they twist it. You are completely and undeniably in the suspect's corner.
I didn't feel like that watching it.
Not all of it.
what it did for me watching the show was it humanized that person. Because I'm going to tell you what, you told me that somebody butchered 3 people. That person's a monster.
Sure.
Instantly. I've never seen him. I've never talked to him. I don't know anything about him. When you hear somebody sit and talk intellectually, like have a real conversation about things,
Right.
and it changes your opinion of them a little bit to where maybe he's not a monster. Maybe he's somebody that went through some shit, made some terrible fucking decisions. You know, I mean, there's something built into you if you can do that to other humans. That is different. But I definitely highly recommend it. If you're looking for something on Netflix that's a little bit older you haven't seen yet, Ozark, watch the 3rd season of that in no time. If you're looking for a new show, if you're in a show hole and you haven't watched Ozark,
Never.
there's 3 seasons.
Is that Jason Bateman?
Yes, and it is fire.
Do you know what's funny?
It is badass all the way through.
Do you know what's funny? I like Jason Bateman, like in the old days.
Me too.
But like every time I see him on this, I'm like, I'm not watching it because of Jason Bateman.
No, dude, do it. He's so good. He's so good. He's one of those guys that, like, I don't know if he went back to acting school or what, but like he is fucking awesome in this role.
Good.
It's incredible all the way through.
Cheers for him.
One more thing about Netflix. They're making money hand over fist right now.
Oh, this is the prime time.
And they're pumping out content left and right. You know, Tiger King is going to go down as one of the great. Have you watched it?
Most of it.
As one of the one.
Most, I mean, I've watched like 7/8.
Right. I love that. Like Carol Baskins is like a thing now. Like, did you see the Baskin Robbins that sold out? It said their sign was like, "This is Baskin Robbins, not what's her ass."
No relation to Carol Baskins.
Yeah, no relation to Carol Baskins. It was something like that on their sign.
Do you know what's funny? It's everywhere. It's like a phenomenon.
Yeah.
And like now there's people that just like their hashtag. Everything they say is "Damn you, Carol Baskins!"
Right? Hashtag I'll never financially recover from this.
Speaking of that lady, let's just talk about her for a quick second.
All right. Don't ruin the show because there's still people that haven't seen it. We're plugging it. I know that a lot of America has. There's still holdouts, so we're recommending that you watch it.
It don't matter if you watch one show. You will realize if she's in that episode, the way she talks, the way she's looks.
She's fucking crazy.
She is fucking psychopath.
She's fucking Looney Tunes.
You don't
man.
talk like, well, I don't know why they think I'm crazy. I just keep doing what I'm doing.
Right. And then her husband, holy douche lord.
Did you see?
You just want to punch that guy in the face?
Did you see their wedding pictures?
Yes.
He's on all fours in a Fred. No, well, this was a.
Oh no, that was the. I know what you're talking about.
He was in like it was a leopard thing,
like a toga,
but it reminded me of like what the Flintstones would wear.
Yeah.
Right. Like the toga thing, but it was in cheetah pattern.
Yeah.
And he's on the ground. She's got him on a leash.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah, and then when he was talking about when they sentenced him.
I haven't got that far. You're ruining it for me.
Well, you know from the beginning.
Yeah, I know he's in prison.
So you don't know everything that leads up to it and what the final outcome is. But it doesn't ruin it. But like you're gonna get pissed. Like they pop a fucking bottle of champagne.
Oh, of course they do. That doesn't piss me off. Where I'm at in the shows are that one douche came in and like was driving the fast cars and was gonna help.
Yeah.
What's his name? The main dude.
Fucking Tiger King.
The Tiger King. What is his name?
Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. So he acted like he was going to help him. Then at the very end of the episode, they say, and who knew he was going to come in and just steal the zoo from him?
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the next one. So apparently,
yeah, it's good.
That's all I'm going to say.
Definitely check it out. So enjoy your Netflix. Enjoy your social distancing.
Wait, I got one more.
You got one more before we're done.
And this is it.
All right.
This is easy, quick and easy.
Finishing strong.
Actually, we kind of already went over this. So maybe I shouldn't even say anything. It was about sports without fans, but I think we already covered that.
They're coming back. We got $10 on it.
It's not going to happen this year.
Hell, I got till December 31st to win or lose this.
That's right.
Fans are coming back, bro.
Now, what I'm talking about is now let's be clear. This isn't like, okay, Section 191 is open for fans. Section 192 is not. Well, that wouldn't work anyways. Because everybody in that 191 would still be touching each other.
We don't have to mind fuck this. It's business as usual. Will come to fruition in 2020. That's the bet.
Because of the BioTerror, we will not.
Good spot to leave it on. We'll come back to that on the next show.
All right, well, I'm going to play some music now. How's that?
Yeah, I like it when you play music. Welcome our boy Ethan Meeksel in for one more time to take us out.
I might not be able to. I can't even find the damn thing.
Again, sorry, Wobbert. We didn't mean to button hook you on our closing music.
Oh, do we have somebody else to say shout out to?
I don't really know at this point. I don't think so. I think we're ready.
Are we ready?
If we forget, we'll amend on the next episode.
All
Thanks for
right.
joining us as always. Hopefully you guys are getting your Harper fix in here.
You know what?
Enjoy the podcast.
We had an extra week without a podcast, so we gave you an extra 20 minutes.
Did you not launch last week?
We didn't record last week, yo.
You had one in the chamber.
We didn't have nothing in the chamber. No, we didn't.
We'll figure this out later.
We had one for Patreon.
I thought that's what you were launching.
I didn't launch anything.
All right. Well, we're glad to be back. Talk to you guys real soon.
Bip, bip.
Cheerio!